So this is part two of a keyboard crusade in the comment section of a video about early source material on the life of the prophet. It's turning into early source material on the life of the prophet translator in the comment section here, actually, and I'm laying out the doctrines of tada-ism. Like, comment, subscribe, click the link for the Google Slides of the entire Book of Austin. These are the words of Good Wizard revealed to me, his prophet translator. I saw this comment pop up just before I could actually post this video, and I had to correct the technical part of it. I don't like the vitriol either. I speak harsh truths. I might say them a little harshly, but I don't try to lie about religion. Let's keep the facts straight about religion, and not let religions keep the people straight. But that's what we'll get into. Are you afraid to answer my questions because it would take critical thinking you reserve for other religions and apply it to your own beliefs? Because debating Christians is how I inadvertently deconverted from Islam. The Most High does not ask for our praise, but that in His name the magic plant be blazed. Spread the word how Harry Potter freed a slave. Will we then follow the example others prophets gave? Austin, chapter 3, verses 11 through 14. Here, Good Wizard shows he's not a narcissist, and that smoking is cool, not to mention Harry Potter set Dobby the house elf free, which puts him on better footing than a lot of other holy figures. If Quran is so great, why haven't you been able to bring any answers to my questions? I'll keep spamming the holy text until you can give some criteria for prophethood versus making stuff up. Good Wizard does say in one of the Spanish portions of El Texto that it's written in part as response to the Quran's challenge of producing a book like it. Rough translation, since I'm actually off the clock as prophet translator right now. Good Wizard doesn't want slaves, but all his money is locked in the vault of Gringotts, so he doesn't really pay his workers yet. I don't understand. Why are you running from the question and beating around the bush? Why? Answer the question first. If you truly are an ex-Muslim, then we can move forward as you've agreed. Go ahead, answer the question first. About the current Khalifa, it's a trick question, unless I was supposed to be at the last ISIS meeting where they announced their replacement for al-Baghdadi. This is the whole problem with Caliphadom. There were multiple caliphates at once with the Persians in the east and the Moors in the west. Now, again, unless you accept ISIS' guide, there is no caliph at the moment. Can you explain to me how the legitimate caliph would arise in our modern context? You still haven't attempted to address any of my questions. You'll have an easier time proving that I'm not a prophet than that I'm not an ex-Muslim, because there's way more examples of real ex-Muslims out there than there are prophets. What makes a prophet different than anyone else who makes things up and then dies before they can happen? Okay, so I get further into this question about the caliph and really do a bit more history. For all I know, Good Wizard declared me caliph since Allah hasn't bothered to make that decision for so long after how finally choosing Ali after the Prophet's three older, wealthier friends went. By the way, where was Allah when that slave stabbed Umar ibn al-Khattab? Even the four rightly guided caliphs had a mob boss, nice soul, be ashamed if it burnt forever, pay for protection racket going on. That's why Abu Bakr, the first caliph, had to fight the wars of Ridda because the Prophet died and people figured the cult of personality would die with him and they could go back to their normal lives, so they stopped paying zakat. Not everyone liked Islam back then, but successive caliphates made sure to shove it down their throats until they knew nothing else, just like progressives and leftists that took over American schools totally flipped our politics by institutionalizing their ideas. Lots of followers will never make something true. People are herd animals and will usually go along with whatever authority in society tells them. Some of them must actually fall for your "I'm the big man asking all the questions" BS, since Zakir Naik has such a massive audience at his shows. All you have to do to prove I'm not a prophet would be to prove my prophecy wrong. I'm prophesying that you won't answer my question about what the criteria are for prophethood. It's not a trick question like who's the caliph, and I'm done with your trick questions. Why should anyone follow a prophet when they don't even know what it is? You've proven your zeal. I'm sure if you can explain how you distinguish prophets from other people, Good Wizard will be happy to have you on his team. He believes in all of us and our magic capabilities. Lol, I am still waiting for your answer. What are you talking about? Good Wizard or something? What's that? Lol. Emojis, emojis. What magic? Lol. More emojis on the floor. Using emojis and more questions to avoid the topic of what makes a prophet different than other people saying stuff about the future? You're fulfilling my prophecy written just minutes before about how you won't answer the question. You might not find all my answers to your questions satisfactory, but I've had to repeat or restate the same one. What is a prophet? What is prophecy? Maybe Good Wizard doesn't pay me for this because he knows it's too easy to predict things like that. You won't answer my question, and now that serves my own prophecy. Word magic from Good Wizard himself. Austin 3, verse 5. They may not like it, but they just helped the word of Good Wizard become incarnate in our reality. Good Wizard says in his book, Good Wizard makes the best promises and keeps them. His word becomes true if it hasn't already. His holy text is the best, because it isn't written by a narcissist. The Prophet Translator and all the rest who bear witness to Harry Potter defeating Evil Wizard have access to the magic of the word, though they still be living in the non-magic world. Matt, chapter 2, verses 8 through 11. The Prophet Translator thing has been really touch and go, so it's hard getting to know the boss, but Good Wizard is the magical entity offering believers a free trip to his magic world. Before making the religion, he figured, I should popularize the heroic figure in children's books and movies first, so people know and love the story already. I don't think Good Wizard realized the reaction he'd get from some hardcore Christian anti-magic Americans or their Muslim fundamentalist equivalent. Of course, when it came time to make tada-ism a religion with Harry Potter and his mother as the savior figures, Good Wizard understood if he was going to have a prophet figure to transcribe his direct revelation, J.K. Rowling was out because prophets are men. Austin, chapter 4, verses 1 through 4. The Prophet Translator thought that Good Wizard just wanted to build up to the big finish at Austin 3:16 and call it a day. But Good Wizard reveals his wisdom on a need-to-know basis. The good news is there isn't much that followers need to know. Non-followers shall be told that Good Wizard believes in them and invites them to accept the magic sacrifices that offer admission into the world of magic. All this talk about followers and non-followers made Good Wizard remember to mention that his word doesn't contain non-sequiturs. As the intro to the chapter explains, I didn't even know this revelation was coming, especially when I'd already had to write down more verses of Austin chapter 3 after verse 16. I, Good Wizard's prophet translator of this holy text, also never studied Latin in school, nor was I on debate team. How then could I know non sequitur meant doesn't follow? This book was revealed to me by Good Wizard, who told me to abbreviate it to capital G-D.
I don't understand why you're coming up with the fairy tales, childish joke, absurd nonsense, allegations, accusations, set herring ad hominem and ad hoc, ad strum and fallacies, talking with you become dysfunctional. You're desperate to make claims without defending them, coming out of fallacies as far as possible all the way around, just hit and run.
What makes Muhammad's fairy tales so special? You're still helping to prove my point that almost anyone can do this prophet thing. I've answered all your questions and you still haven't answered mine. Even as not answering my question just fulfills my prophecy that you wouldn't. So if Allah misguides who he wills and guides who he wills, Quran 14:4, and then insists on the unbelievers burning forever, he's a sadistic creator compared to Good Wizard, who's just telling people who already believe magic stuff to try a new brand of magical thinking. If it's not for you, okay. No need for hellfire. I finally get him to talk about his magic book. He says the style of Quran has been called elusive, which means that it alludes to a lot of things, and you have to know all the references that are outside the book. And the book is also self-referential, even though it has no beginning, middle, or end, so it doesn't refer to a structure of how to structure the book. So who knows what order it was actually supposed to appear in, but we're not going to get into that whole history. Like, you run into the same thing in Christian history. I'm going to bring it back to El Texto Sagrado with citations to prove why my book that refers to itself is actually better than his book that does. He says translation, it doesn't matter whatever translation you read, you will be able to understand it if, God wills and you have patience. Yeah, sure, dude. As soon as I cite it, though, of course I got it out of context and I was never a real Muslim. Yada, yada, yada. I don't know enough Arabic. El Texto Sagrado's better. Then he talks about the inimitability of the Quran, which is like, oh, it can't be imitated. Look, it even says so in the Quran, how great its style is and how good it is and how it can't be copied. Meanwhile, if you did try to copy it, that would be either blasphemous or they would just say you plagiarized. So I tell him, remember what Allah told the Jews asking particular details about their scriptures from your prophet? Allah said it didn't matter how many sleepers in the cave there were. Your prophet got a new book from an entity that told believers in other books that his was better, and now I'm doing the same thing, but capital G-D is Good Wizard instead. If it weren't for my different beliefs, I'd say I'm following the Sunnah better than lots of Muslims. Also, calling my revelation nonsense, you do realize that is the sort of thing that people told Muhammad in his time. Even he thought he was going crazy. Let me know when Allah's book gives you a better magic spell than saying, Inshallah, to avoid my question, what is a prophet? All this anti-magic religious propaganda has poisoned your perception of Harry Potter and his gift of magic education at Hogwarts for all. May Good Wizard's magic penetrate the Arabic spells, keeping you from taking this opportunity. Magic isn't a limited resource like natural resources of our non-magic world. So I remind him again about my question, what is a prophet, and my prophecy that he wouldn't answer it. Then, citing Austin chapter 2, verses 9 and 10, I say, worry not about winning arguments. Worry less how others see you. The magic of good wizards' holy text can turn its followers into holy fools. But this is the subtlety of good wizards' grand strategy. Just low magic Harry Potter and emojis all over the place, like he's got a whole separate keyboard for it. But then addressing his wall of text about Quran, I said, good stuff. I can copy paste that and change Arabic to Spanish or English while Good Wizard reveals more holy text and how to organize it. How long did Allah take to reveal all the Quran again? I know it was several years. Which brings me to another point. The genius of El Texto Sagrado is it doesn't hide behind, you have to study ancient Arabic before you can debunk Islam. While at the same time pressuring anyone they can to just say Shahada because they'll find out it's true after they say the magic words. El Buen Mago, Good Wizard, first revealed his message to me in Spanish, a language I've had to write in extensively. Most of the English chapters reiterate what the Spanish revelation says. Austin 3:19 tells us Good Wizard, the Most High, in his unmatched wisdom, revealed his magic truths in an age of mass communication so no one has to get his words second or third hand. I guess I made my point because he gave up before answering my question and proved my prophecy right. He said, lol, the same garbage as usual. I am done arguing with you. Bye. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant you and us all guidance. I mean, obviously he's had enough of El Texto Sagrado, so I actually quote Quran since it's relevant here. Surah Al Kafirun. The last verse says, for you is your religion and for me my religion. And the verse of my holy book that I never actually needed to cite because it goes without saying is,
Austin 3:16 says I just whipped your ass.